If you don't have a roughing reamer, and I do not, your finishing reamer will last longer if you hog out some of the material before you run the finishing reamer into the barrel to create the chamber. So I've got two drill bits. This first one is a little bit smaller than this diameter. I've got a second one that's a little bit smaller than this diameter. So I'll run this bit in to hog out enough material for this almost to fit, but not quite, because I want the reamer to cut that. And then the second one I'll run in to a shallower depth so that this will almost fit. Again, the bits are smaller than these two diameters. Now I don't want to run the bit in this entire distance because the base of the case here fits into this countersink right here. And this is 125 thousandths deep. So I want to drill in there this distance minus 125, and I think I put the tape here at about 20 or 30 thousandths less than that, just to give myself some wiggle room since I'm stupid. So I'll hog out some material, but not absolutely every last speck. And the finishing reamer will take care of whatever I miss. So I'll put a little cutting oil on there, although it doesn't really matter at this point anyway, probably because the finishing reamer is what matters. The material this cuts, the finish it leaves, that'll be machined away by the reamer. So here we go. Now you can hear it hitting the lands. Yes, there's some shavings in there. Alright, got the bigger bit in there, and it's adjusted to cut from here to the shoulder minus 125 thousandths minus like another 20-ish thousandths or so. Alright, so I feel good about that. Next up, reaming the chamber. Woohoo! Alright, so I got my nice new 3-inch travel dial indicator, and you need one that long because you need to be able to remove the reamer occasionally and clean out the chips and then put it back in and keep this setting so you can measure your last few thousandths. Although some people actually do the last few thousandths by hand, so maybe you could do it without this altogether. But anyway, it's an excuse to get a new tool. So you can see this bumps up against what will be the shoulder there. Which is good. I didn't want to drill the insides there oversize. So let's go ahead and do some reaming, which I've never done before. Put some oil in here. And I think rather than cranking the hand wheel on the tailstock until this stops each time, I could jam the cutting edges into the chamber. I think what I'll do, and I don't want to do that, I think what I'll do, because I wouldn't know exactly when to stop, I think I'll just push this in by hand each time and then run the tailstock spindle into this. That's going to be my approach. Doesn't matter yet. It doesn't need to be totally tight. Alright. And I've just got a little 3/8 wrench here to keep this from turning. Let's get this thing up to about 100 RPM, or down to 100 RPM. Yeah, 90 is as slow as I can get on my lathe, so I'll just leave it at that. Alright. Yeah, there's chips coming out. Look at that. I can't even feel it cutting. Alright, let's just start real easy there. Let's clean those chips out and take a look at my chamber. Although actually, I think it'll maybe never cut there, only here. Although maybe this will clear away some rifling for some lead. I'm not sure. Alright, so that's cleaned up. Let's blow this out. Oh, starting to go in now. By the way, I ran the compressor hose all the way from the garage, out of the garage, in, up the porch, into the house, through the living room, and up the stairs into my gun room. Alright, wow, we went a long way that time. And how much further do we have here? Maybe 300 thousandths. So basically we'll go until right about here. Right about that sharp angle right there. This is sweet. There, I can feel it just barely start to tighten up there. That's actually a nice way to do it, I think. Just wiggle this back and forth as I slowly dial this in. I like it. Alright. I think I've got like 300 thousandths left to go. So once around is 100. Because each one of these ticks is 1,000th, 1,000th. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 around would be 100. So let's go 100, and then back it out. So that'll be less than I went last time, but each time I'm going to go in a little bit less than I did the previous time. So there's 100, approximately. Not critical right now. Alright. Alright. Let's check this. Oh, that makes sense. I went in 100th, or 100 thousandths, and that looks like it probably was 100 thousandths. Let's do another 100. Alright, so I got a nice 3-inch dial indicator, but can't really use it for this job. It's probably useful if I can slide the tailstock in and then feed it in by hand slowly until I can just feel the reamer bottoming out if I'm really careful, and then I can use the dial to feed in just another few thousand. So it's probably worth something, but not as good as it could be. Alright, so I can see here the barrel extension isn't up against the shoulder by, well, by approximately that amount of the flat part of the case there, which is about what I expected. Alright, here's what you can do. Well, it would help if I put that in. Alright, so let's get a gauge pin, and you could use feeler gauges, whatever. Actually, the smallest gauge pin I've got is 61 thousandths, so that's 100, so it's smaller than that. That's 70, it's bigger than that. $80 is bigger than that. Just a little bigger than 90. So let's go another 50. And then I'll start to slow down. This is a go gauge. Alright, let's go another 10. So this is a go gauge, so I want to be able to get the bolt in here with this gauge. Let's see how close we are. Let's go another 10. Alright, we should be getting close now. I'm not going to do any more 10,000th or 10 cuts of 10 thousandths. I think I'll start doing smaller cuts. So that's a go gauge. I should be able to completely screw the barrel extension on with a go gauge, but not with a no-go. So let's just screw that on all the way. Okay, that still won't go. There. Now it goes. Let's do alright, so it won't go. And how far do I need to turn this? Alright, so we want to machine a feed ramp in here with an outer diameter of about 570 thousandths. I doubt that that's critical, but we'll see how close we can get. what just happened. I didn't have enough relief under this bit. Alright, so I reground this bit, took material off the bottom, so hopefully I can get in this tight spot here without binding. Good, I got plenty of room. Okay, I probably will want to stick this back in the lathe. Doesn't matter if it's the 4-jaw, I can put it in the 3-jaw, and run some Scotch-Brite or something through the chamber. Although it probably wouldn't matter, but I'll do that. Cool. So now, if I want a new AR-15 barrel, and I have a barrel blank that's the right caliber, I can make myself an AR-15 barrel for, I don't know, about $35. And I can contour it how I want, chamber it for whatever cartridge I want, put a 5/8 gas block or a 3/4 gas block, cut it to the length I want, and so on. Pretty cool.